I'm sick right now. You can probably hear it in my voice. So this is going to be a very casual video, very minimal editing, but I wanted to bring you guys the vegan butter taste test, especially since right now one of the only things I actually feel like eating is toast. It's pretty much all I've been eating. So I figured why not just try it? And luckily I haven't lost my taste or smell or anything. So today we're going to figure out which vegan butter actually tastes the best on its own. No salt sprinkled on top, no jam, nothing, just which actually tastes the best. Originally, I wanted to do this as a blind taste test because we all think we know which brands we're gonna like the best, and so I didn't want that to influence the taste test. I want it to just be based on flavor, and because I'm sick, I obviously didn't want to invite anyone over to help me do this taste test. So what I did instead was I made these little samples, and they're all on like the same kind of rectangular shaped bread, and I have a little note underneath that will tell me which one is which. And I kind of like, I just closed my eyes and kind of did like this, and I did it for long enough to where I have no idea which one these are. So I will say one of them is much more yellow, and it wasn't like that when I first spread everything on. So like there's one that's noticeably the most yellow and there's one that's noticeably the most white. It's just kind of interesting, like just visually there's already a difference. Last week when I did a test to find out which vegan butter is the best for baking, I also used milkademia, but for some reason when I opened it today, and it's been like less than a week, I opened it and it was moldy. Like the top of the container was moldy and like around the edge, but I looked at the expiration date and it's not until September. So I don't think that's a manufacturer thing. I think maybe the grocery store might have kept it at like the wrong temperature. Maybe it got too warm or something. I don't know, but that's why I didn't include it in this video. And so many of you guys said that you love Country Crock, and I've used it in the past. I really liked it as well, but my grocery store that normally carries it was out of it, or I don't know if they're out of stock or if they just stopped carrying that one and started doing different ones. Either way, when I do find it, I'm going to make the same cookie recipe and I will try it on bread against the winner of this taste test and do like a comparison to see if it can like knock the reigning champs out of the running. I am gonna edit out my chewing just to speed things up. This one's very salty. I think I need to taste some of the other ones to be able to like compare, because right now I'm just like, oh yeah, that's like salty butter. This one is the very yellow one, and it kind of melted into the bread more than some of the others. That one's good. This is delicious, and it's like what I think of when I think of the flavor of butter. This is what I think of. The salt is a little bit more balanced, so you do get salt, but this actually has like a creamy taste to it. It tastes creamy, not in a sweet way, but it is more balanced than the other one. Palate cleanser. I usually like to drink a lot of tea when I'm sick, but recently like tea and really anything with too much flavor, like it's making me feel nauseous. So I've just been like guzzling ice cold water. I think the second one that I tried, I think that one tastes more like what I remember butter tasting like, and this one tastes like what I remember like a margarine tasting like. This one is the one that is the most white in color. Okay, I'm legitimately surprised at how different that one tastes. Like I kind of thought they would all taste the same, but they're all pretty different. All right, sorry for the abrupt change in background and lighting and everything. It's a couple hours later, but I was editing and I was just looking at this footage and I was like, I can do this more efficiently and be more helpful. So it ended up that the first one that I tried was Earth Balance, and this one was the one that was kind of the most one note of all of them. It definitely had the most like prominent salty flavor, and that was kind of the main flavor that I got. It's definitely the saltiest of the bunch, and it didn't have as much of like a dairy creaminess as much as it did like kind of an oily saltiness. The second one that I tried was the Miyoko's oat milk butter, and this one was really similar to what I remember dairy butter tasting like. It still has a little bit of salt, but it's much more mellow in flavor, but the salt isn't like the only thing that you taste. You also get something else, and it's like that creamy milkiness that butter has. So I was really impressed with the oat milk butter. I really liked the flavor of this one. The third one was Melt, and I was pretty surprised that this was Melt because Melt comes in sticks and in bathtubs. And when I tasted this one, I really thought that this was like a spread. I thought it was margarine. It just has a very margarine flavor to it, and it kind of reminds me of movie theater butter in that sort of in that realm, right? And so I thought this was going to be margarine or like a spread, and it was a stick. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And the fourth one that I tried was the Miyoko's European style butter. And now that I know that this is what it was, it makes sense that this was the one that had the most distinct flavor out of all of them, because European style butter is cultured, which means that they add live active cultures or bacteria to the butter mixture, and it basically ferments it, and that creates just more nuanced flavor. There was just a little bit of tanginess to this one. There was kind of just an umami richness in the background. It tasted milky and creamy and salty and just good. Like, it's just a very flavorful butter. Okay, so these are the winners for the taste test. I do think it'll be fun when I can get my hands on Country Crock to compare it to both of these. Overall, like, I'm just really proud of Team Vegan. Like, the vegan butter alternatives that we have, there's so many now, and they're all really good. Like, there wasn't one that I was like, ew, this is disgusting, or ew, this doesn't taste like butter. They all taste like butter. And this taste test is really just me being like very specific and trying to figure out like what is actually the difference. That's why these taste tests are fun, because when you just have them on their own, they taste like butter. And it's not until you kind of taste them side by side where you're like, oh, there is quite a difference, but they're all good. And so I'm just really excited that there's very, very good dairy-free alternatives out there. If you guys recreate this taste test at home, let me know which butters you try and which one is your favorite. I'd be really curious to know the results of your experiments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you in a video very soon. I'm gonna go to bed now.